smoke it for quite some time, and I really haven't found the appropriate time to smoke it. So I decided to bite the bullet and just smoke it tonight, because if I keep putting it off, it's just gonna sit in my car and get more and more poorly humidified. So we have here with us the Alec Bradley Filthy Ghooligan cigar. I was really excited. It says Black Market on there. This is a cigar that is a limited edition. Comes out on Halloween. And so I finally did the right thing and purchased 2 of them. So one is for tasting and the other one is for saving in case I do really enjoy it. Look at the little cute label. It's so cute. Let's get some nice crinkles in first before I go ahead and get started with the review. And I know I started this video with some whispers, but I noticed that my microphone isn't picking up the left and right audio, so I'm just gonna keep it kind of at this soft-spoken voice, and I hope you like it. So I got this at Neptune Cigar Superstore, where I get all of my cigars, and it says here on the back where they put the SKU label on it, Alec Bradley Black Market Filthy Ghooligan Toro 6x50 ring gauge. So quite a large cigar. Long. Seems like it'll be like... Seems like it would be a very time-consuming cigar in the best way possible. So hopefully this has been sitting in my car. So hopefully it's not too... poorly humidified. Just getting some crinkles in for you. Alright, that smells really good. But look at this cute label. So lovely. It's got 3 little ghosts on it, and it says Alec Bradley. Their labels are very, very cute. I'm quite a big fan of them. So I'm just feeling the cigar right now. It feels a bit stiff in certain areas and not so much in others. So hopefully that still smokes very well. We'll see. I've got a cutter here, and I think I'm just going to go for a straight cut. The cap looks as if it cracked just a bit, so hopefully I don't crack it any further. I'm just going to go very lightly. And that is quite a tight draw, so let's try one more time. Right, that's better. So, this is what the cigar looks like. You can't really see it in this lighting, but it's a barber pole. You could see just a bit right here that it has a bit of a different coloration throughout and up here as well. Beautiful cigar. I'm very excited. I really wanted to try this on Halloween, but I didn't really get the opportunity to give it a try. So I have my leather journal here that has the notes of the cigar. So we're going to smoke it through and see if we get some of those notes. But let me light it first and I will get back to you. Alright, we are back, and let the smoke cleanse you. So it is lit now. And this is going to be the first unadulterated puff. I have to say, I haven't smoked a cigar in quite a while, so I'm actually very happy that I'm getting the opportunity to smoke this. On initial notes, it's quite a bit of a spicy on the note on the beginning, but that's usually very common in cigars, so don't let that alarm you if you're a first time cigar smoker and a lady cigar smoker as well. It may not be like a note, it may not be a note that you are searching for, but it does die down. It's only the initial combustion of the leaves that kind of give that sort of peppery spice to it. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the cigar. Let's see in my notes what I've got here. It's a crow crowing in the background, which is quite nice. All right. So here we have some of my notes. And we have the Alec Bradley Filthy Ghooligan Toro. It's listed as a medium-bodied cigar with a 50 ring gauge. That's what the Toro size is. And it is listed as a barber pole cigar. So what that means is that it has this kind of configuration, if you can kind of see that. It has two different wrapper leaves. There's a bit of history with this because Alec Bradley initially has a cigar called the Filthy Hooligan. I was going to say Hooligan. The Filthy Hooligan, which is a cigar that is a limited release that comes out on St. Patrick's Day, as well as the Filthy Hooligan Shamrock, which that is not a barber pole, it's a triple pole cigar. So a bit different from the Filthy Hooligan, which is also a barber pole, but it has a candela wrapper, which gives it that very nice St. Patrick's Day festivity to it. Quite a delicious cigar, I have to say. It still has a lot of the strong spice notes, but it's mellowing out to a bit of more richer, darker cigar, which I'm quite a big fan of. So the wrapper, so speaking of that, let's see if I can get it in the light. See how there's two distinct leaves there, two distinct leaves. So that is going to be a broadleaf, U.S. Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and this is an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. I don't really get the opportunity to smoke many Habano wrappers. I don't generally tend to gravitate to those cigars, but I really do want to broaden my palate and my horizons and try something new. So I'm definitely enjoying this. I think that's where a lot of the spice is coming from. Could be. The origin is from Honduras. That's where Alec Bradley, I think, has their factory, but don't quote me. The filler is Dominican and Nicaraguan, and the binder is an Indonesian besuki wrapper, which is very interesting for me because I have never smoked a cigar with an Indonesian besuki wrapper. So could be contributing to a lot of those darker flavors. So this is notes of nuts, oak, and cocoa. Quite nice. So I really enjoy those notes. Those are the 10 type of cigars that I tend to gravitate to. It's burning not so bad, not so evenly either. I do have my windows open because it is quite hot today, and it's the only way that I can smoke without disturbing everyone else in my family is in my car, so I get a lot of heat, a lot of humidity, and as well some drafts from my windows being open to let the smoke out of the vehicle. But anyway, we're not even a third into the cigar, but it's not burning terribly, which I'm actually quite proud of. There's a slight curve in the cigar. I don't know if you can see it. I think that's from the way I stored it in my glove compartment. I have some cigars in my glove compartment right now. I have, let me show you actually. This video will be with a lot of crinkles and a lot of neighbor noises. But in here, I tend to keep, this is a little Perdomo travel humidifying bag that I got from when I went to the Perdomo factory, or the Perdomo office here in Miami. Those are my Midnight Jack's cigars. Trader Jack's, the Kicking Midnight cigars. They're these flavored aromatic cigars that I kind of have as just my in-between work cigar smoking experience. So I experience quite a bit of traffic, and so in that time I enjoy a cigar and try to pick up notes, pick up flavors. So the retrohale was quite smooth. There is a bit of spice that is lingering in the back of the throat. And it seems almost like a white pepper. I haven't really gotten too much cocoa, but there is quite a bit of oakiness, which I really enjoy. That is such a drying flavor, but in a really pleasant way, you know? So I'm thoroughly enjoying that. It's still burning pretty okay, but not too terrible. So I have some tips, I guess, for you. This turned into my tips and tricks cigar video for one tip, which is how do you pick up cigar notes? The way I do it is by looking at the notes that you get from a cigar. For example, in this particular cigar, there's supposed notes of nuts, oak, and cocoa. So if I'm not too familiar with the nut notes, what I would do is I would plan smoking a cigar that has one note. So let me articulate this a bit clearer. If you are trying to find notes in a cigar, my first tip is to pick a note from a cigar that you plan to smoke. So let's say I wasn't familiar with the oak note. What I would do is specifically plan to smoke the cigar in a day or so, or maybe 2 days. And within those 2 days, indulge yourself in as many oak noted things as possible. So find, some drinks with oak notes, some foods that have oak notes, some scents that have oak notes. Familiarize yourself with the one specific note. So when you go to smoke the cigar, you look for that note. For me, a note that's very difficult to find and understand is the cinnamon or baking spice note. I have consumed quite a bit of things with cinnamon and nutmeg and things, but for some reason in a cigar that is supposedly highlighted with such a note, it's kind of difficult for me until I decided to, previous to smoking the cigar, prior to smoking, almost like a preparation for the cigar, I will have coffee with cinnamon. I will have desserts with cinnamon in it. I will just have anything that has cinnamon in it to be able to identify it in the note. And as I'm smoking the cigar, which is something that I suggest for you all, is as you're smoking the cigar, think about the notes and think about the note that you specifically have prepped for. So that's a great way to become familiarized with different notes, different sensations that a cigar can give you. There's a bit of that spicy, a more drying sensation, a sweeter sensation that you can get from cigars. The oak right now in this cigar particularly is quite mouth drying. It's like when you have a wine with quite a bit of tannins in it, kind of leaves your mouth with that dry palate in a very pleasant way. It's difficult to explain because notes on a cigar are sometimes very interesting and very not complimentary, but at the same time very complimentary. So you might get some pepper, but also a little bit of honey in a cigar, which is very, very interesting for me, and I love that. So that's my first tip for you all, is to pick a cigar, pick a note from the cigar, and prep yourself prior to smoking the cigar. And then think about that note as you're smoking the cigar. Really give it the attention and think about all the other the things that you consumed as preparation for this note. And see if you can find it and see when you find it. And I would love to make a cigar journal. I think that would be very interesting. I'm such a fan of leather journals, as you can see. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. I love cigars, I love notes, I love picking up craft things, I love coffee, I love philosophy, I love poetry, I love self-help, self-improvement. Everyone does these days. I love all of these things, and it's something that I discuss here on the channel with some vices that aren't quite so healthy, but life is full of balance, and if you're healthy but you also have a little bit of a little fun side, there's nothing wrong with that, at least in my book. So you are most welcome here. And if any of you have smoked this cigar, please leave your notes in the comment section below. I would love to know what you thought of it. I haven't had the privilege of smoking the Filthy Hooligan. I always get it confused. The Filthy Hooligan. So if you have, let me know how you think that compares with this cigar. If they're even comparable, if you've had the Shamrock, even more, I would love to know. Yeah, that would be very interesting. But let's see where we are with the cigar right now. Oh, there you can see how it's slightly curved. I think it's the way I stored it. But burn isn't too bad. It's a little bit of a section here that's not burning, as you can see, but we'll try to fix that. I tried not to retouch my cigars. See how it's kind of fixing itself already? You can see how it's starting to burn up right there. I try not to touch my cigars too much with the torch lighter because it burns quite hot, and I don't want it to poorly combust the cigar. Because another mini tip, if you introduce too much heat to the leaves, you will get this very acrid, bitter note in the back of your throat that is very unpleasant and not at all a reflection of what the cigar is meant to highlight for you. So if you do get that, I get that quite often because I'm a bit of a quick smoker. It's hot in Miami, so sometimes I just want to get the hit of the flavors of the smoke in my mouth. So I tend to draw on the cigar quite often and too quickly. You want to slowly draw the cigar and pace yourself and have some time to let the leaves heat up and really just mellow out and do their thing and be able to burn up those oils in between the leaves and the filler here. So you want to let that really mellow out, warm up. And that's when you really get the release of delicious, beautiful smoke. So I'm gonna continue poofing on this for a bit, and we will get back to you once I'm a bit further down the cigar and go ahead and give you a little bit more of a review. So let's continue. I'll check back in once I'm a bit further down and perhaps a little bit more into the cigar to be able to give you an accurate description of the notes that I find in it. All right, we are back and about a third of the way into the cigar. The most prevalent note that I have found in this cigar is a very dark, oaky, leathery note. Not quite a bit of sweetness, which is quite nice. I do enjoy a cigar that is a bit more robust. I do enjoy the sweet note, though, as well. I worry that perhaps I didn't humidify this quite as well, but Miami tends to be a very humid place, so I feel like it can be left alone in the Miami humidity and still be a perfectly good cigar. But so far, the cigar is simply just giving me a lot of oaky, leathery notes, which I like, and a lot of oakiness in the back of the throat. But in the meantime, while we smoke, I thought, why not? Let's whip out Think and Grow Rich yet again. And I thought this time I could read to you the major attributes of leadership because I found this very interesting. The first attribute is unwavering courage based upon knowledge of self and one's occupancy. My light just gave out. That's okay. It was my cute purple light. Let's see. No, she's dead. She's dead. That's all right. Unwavering courage based upon knowledge of self and one's occupation. No follower wishes to be dominated by a leader who lacks self-confidence and courage. No intelligent follower will be dominated by such a leader very long. 2. Self-control. The man who cannot control himself can never control others. Self-control sets a mighty example for one's followers, which the more intelligent will emulate. Three, a keen sense of justice. Without a sense of fairness and justice, no leader can command and retain the respect of his followers. 4. Definitiveness of decision. The man who wavers in his decisions shows that he is not sure of himself and he cannot lead others successfully. The burn is quite nice. 5. Definitiveness of plans. The successful leader must plan his work and work his plan. A leader who moves by guesswork without practical, definite plans is comparable to a ship without a rudder. 6. The habit of doing more than paid for. One of the penalties of leadership is the necessity of willingness upon the part of the leader to do more than he requires of his followers. This is a note that I feel like a lot of managers and owners should take, but I digress. 7. A pleasing personality. No slovenly, careless person can become a successful leader. Leadership calls for respect. Followers will not respect a leader who does not grade high on all of the factors of a pleasing personality. And pleasing personality is in caps. 8. Sympathy and understanding. The successful leader must be in sympathy with his followers. Moreover, he must understand them and their problems. Check it out. I ashed once, so that's why the ash isn't quite as long as it was before. 9. A mastery of details. Successful leadership calls for mastery of details of the leader's position. 10. Willingness to assume full responsibility. The successful leader must be willing to assume responsibility for the mistakes and the shortcomings of his followers. If he tries to shift this responsibility, he will not remain the leader. If one of his followers makes a mistake and shows himself incompetent, the leader must consider that it is he who failed. 11. Cooperation. The successful leader must understand and apply the principle of cooperative effort and be able to induce his followers to do the same. Leadership calls for power, and power calls for cooperation. Power calls for cooperation. I recently discovered this interesting YouTube channel called Grim something. I'm sure if you look it up, it's a motivational channel that's called Grim, and their community is called Grim. But it's this Russian mob guy that gives really wonderful, fantastic advice. And something that he says that I really have taken to heart is that no one gets anywhere alone. A lot of the times you may feel like you want to be the lone wolf, the sole controller of your destiny. And you want to go places. You want to grow and be bigger if that is something that you're interested in. Certainly something that I'm interested in. And to do that, you need a team. You need people that are on your page that can do things that you cannot do, but collectively you can all make something great. And in the last video that I saw with them, he says teamwork stands for together everyone achieves more. Team. So together everyone achieves more. And I thought that was so beautiful, so simple, and so profound, in the sense that I am one of these people that I think I'll just shoot alone, or I'll make my film by myself, and then you never really actually get to doing anything, because you need people. You need people to help you get there, and that's okay. I think understanding that is one of the steps towards success. No successful person has ever gotten there alone. You don't need a giant team of people, but you need people. And it's beautiful to need people. I think it's one of the most human things that we have, is needing people. So I think take that with whatever grain of salts you want to take, and do your own research, do whatever is best for you. But some food for thought while we enjoy our cigar. I'm now reaching the first band that I have here, and the cigar has significantly mellowed out with the spicy or peppery notes that initially came up upon combustion. It's kind of mellowing out into the more leathery, oaky notes, which I quite like. So before I go, I'll take one more nice puff and a retrohale, let you know what I notice, and then I will bid you all an adieu. Thank you for watching. Alright, let's see how we're doing. You can see where it's burning there and burning up the wrapper leaf. So, final notes that I have on this first third of the cigar is definitely a lot of oak, but I just now reached a slight hint of dark, bitter chocolate in a pleasant way. So I think as the cigar warms up and progresses, it'll definitely get a little bit more of that cocoa note in there. Thank you all for watching. If you're still here, leave a little ghost comment in honor of our Filthy Ghooligan cigar. And I'm looking forward to enjoying this on the proper time that you're supposed to enjoy it, which is Halloween. So thank you all so much and have a great night. I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to relax, expand your mind, and enjoy all that life can possibly give you. Bye.